You're listening to the Fresno Housing Spotlight, a behind-the-scenes look at how Fresno is working together to create housing opportunities and changing lives. I'm Tyrone Roderick Williams, CEO of Fresno Housing, and welcome to the show. Hello, I'm Tyrone Roderick Williams, CEO of Fresno Housing, and welcome to the Spotlight. You know, this is our opportunity to share some of the wonderful things that are going on at Fresno Housing. But we could not do what we do across the county without incredible partners. And today, we have an opportunity to have a conversation with Susan Holt. She's the County of Fresno's Department of Behavioral Health Director, and we've got a lot of things that we are doing with Susan and her department, and we get to talk about that today. So Susan, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here in the conversation. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, it is a joy to work with you and your team as we endeavor to provide housing and supports for some of our most vulnerable residents throughout the county. And so I want to just kick off our time together with you just talking about your work at the county. And I know that you've been there for a number of years.
A few.
Yes. And so just tell us about your rise to being the Director of Behavioral Health.
Oh, well, it has been quite a journey. Thank you for being interested in my story. Like many of the persons that we serve, I've had my own journey of recovery, and I was inspired at a young age to help others because of the success that I had in working through my own challenges and opportunities. And I was inspired to become a therapist. And that was about the extent of my aspirations at the time. I loved being a therapist, having individuals in their moments of growth extend the privilege to me to partner with them in their journey has been really instrumental in shaping the rest of my career. And so as much as I loved doing therapy with the people that we serve in the Department of Behavioral Health, I had a calling to expand my ability to impact care. And I saw opportunities for us to do things better. And I stumbled into the role of a supervisor because of that inspiration, and really started to develop my own personal vision to cultivate the strengths in others to lead our department, to expand access to vulnerable populations in partnership with many others. Nothing happens in the Department of Behavioral Health alone, much like your organization. And really, it's just a privilege to help support the staff as they do the important work before us. Both our department staff and many of our partner organizations. We have scores and scores of community-based organizations and other agencies that do work on our behalf. And so I kind of grew up in the system, if you will, and it's just an honor to lead and serve.
And so how long have you been in your current role?
Well, I started a long time ago. We won't talk about it, but it was the 90s. But the growth has culminated in my appointment as the Director of Behavioral Health, which I proudly accepted in April of this year.
Oh, well, thank you for accepting.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that, you know, your explanation of the journey to where you currently stand really comes through in your passion and your sincere commitment. And I think that many times that adds a whole nother level of authenticity and commitment. I am glad that you made the journey.
Thank you. It is an honor to serve in a community that has been so generous to me. I grew up here. I've never lived anywhere but Fresno County.
Oh,
so.
Well, Fresno County girl who's done well.
Oh,
done well.
Thank you.
And that's really what I understand your department is really focused on, helping people do well.
Yeah.
And providing the supports and services to do that. And we at Fresno Housing are engaged in providing a wide range of housing opportunities for many different population groups in our community and throughout the county. But I want to spend our time today just kind of talking about our partnership because, as you said, we don't do anything by ourselves, and partnership is our middle name. But the Department of Behavioral Health is such an important partner, particularly when we're talking about the unhoused or those who have significant housing insecurity.
Yeah.
And so for us, we are actively engaged in developing housing for those who need supportive services from many different walks of life and different populations. And you all have been an incredible partner in providing those services. And we generally refer to them as wrap-around services, services that are designed to support our residents and help them thrive as best as they can. And I want to talk about how many different ways in which we're connecting and really providing the platform for others to be successful. So let's just kick it off. I want to first talk about just, the work of our development always includes federal and state funds and probably 5 or 6 different other funding sources at least. But the No Place Like Home funding that has come down has really made a difference for those who are unhoused for a number of reasons, and particularly our chronically unhoused families. And the work that you all are providing to that, we've got about 319 units throughout the county, but in every instance, there is that support. So talk to me about how that has come about and really what that looks like on a daily basis for that resident.
Oh, I'd be happy to talk about the support we provide. It is one of the most important things that we do because we believe, as I believe you do as well, that stability of housing and appropriate housing is really the foundation of recovery in behavioral health. And so when folks are experiencing any sort of health challenge, including behavioral health challenge, it's incredibly difficult to benefit from the healthcare services in the community if you don't have a roof over your head, if you don't have running water, and all of the basic necessities of life. So we help the most vulnerable with serious mental illness enjoy the success of tenancy. And so we provide on-site services that are custom tailored to each individual resident in a supportive housing development. And so we've made a commitment of 20 years of stable funding for those supportive services. That includes everything from traditional behavioral health services like therapy and seeing a physician and case management, and what's called peer support services. So California has joined with other states in our country to provide peer certification, which allows people with lived experience having a mental health condition themselves to really leverage the strength of their own recovery journey to come alongside someone who's at a different place in their own pathway and share in their experience and help them participate in their services and help them feel heard and understood and advocate with them to get their needs met. And in addition to those treatment services, we also provide transportation. We help them get connected to vocational services and supports. We also provide lots of enrichment activities, help folks obtain all of the things that can help propel them to achieving the goals that they set. All of it individualized. We support tenants' councils so that the individual residents understand their rights as a leaseholder and develop the strength and skills to have housing for the rest of their life.
And that is so important. When we talk about the unhoused, if someone loses their housing and ends up on the street or wherever in an insecure place, even if you've never needed behavioral health or in some cases mental health service, just the act of the insecurity of where you're going to sleep tonight, or where your next meal is coming from, or are you in a safe place? You know, I say anybody would need support services.
It's so true. And the stark reality of those who are forced to be on the streets unhoused is that there is significant trauma.
Yes.
So there's the experience of, you know, if I'm in that circumstance, I'm envisioning myself to experience significant anxiety out of the fear for my safety. Where am I going to be able to provide for safe storage of my medications? How am I going to obtain all of the basic life necessities? And then on top of that, the streets are not a safe place to be. And many of the individuals that we serve who do have existing serious mental illness, they are at high risk for abuse in the community. They face tremendous stigma and discrimination, and they are actually among the first to lose housing because of those experiences of discrimination.
Well, we appreciate all that you're doing to help people stabilize and then thrive. That's it. You know, one of the other things that I'm talking about thriving is that you all are working with child welfare and family reunification, as well as supporting foster care youth, or youth aging out of foster care.
Yeah.
And we've developed housing specifically for those who are aging out, and that's kind of what I think it's the 18 to 24-year-old age group.
Yeah.
Those young adults really have a challenge at that, making that transition, and having housing, as you said, is the foundation. But you all are also providing services to those residents as well.
It's a critical stage of our development as human beings. You know, we have many milestones across our lifespan, transitions, right? So you transition from being a little baby into, you know, being a toddler and into school-aged. One of the most significant transitions is from adolescence to adulthood. It is one of the most vulnerable times because you lose the security of adults who are responsible for you, and you have to develop the skills to really stand on your own. Many of the persons that we serve and many of the youth who've been in the foster system have yet to develop the skills to do that, and they haven't had the support system to carry with them through that transition. And so we do come alongside to support those individuals. And so not just those who have unstable housing, but really our department serves all foster youth through our partnerships in the community. We provide services in family reunification, but also all aspects of those youth involved in foster care, as well as former foster youth.
Well, you do that and so much more. You've got library services, and you are working with CalWorks and residents who receive that. But our time's up.
It's been lovely to be with you.
Oh, well, you know, maybe we could have another conversation at another time. There's so much more that you do, and we are so appreciative of all that you do and the approach that you take. Well, this concludes our edition of the Housing Spotlight. And my guest today has been Susan Holt, who is the director of the Fresno County Department of Behavioral Health. Well, for more information about all of the things that we are doing at Fresno Housing, visit fresnohousing.org or follow us on social media. Until next time, thank you for joining us.